I was born in 1955 in the city of Tehran, capital of Iran, and I was raised there till I was in college, and then I came to the United States.
And I was born in 1957 back in Tehran and lived there until 1978 when I came to United States.
When we were growing up, it was different than what it is now. We grew up in a community that was economically was flourishing and moving from underdeveloped country to a developed countries, and it has lots of credit for or to the oil business out there during 70s, late 80s and early 70s. Oil prices moved from $3 to $12 a barrel back then. So the country was becoming rich very fast, and economically it was very diverse and very it was it was very dynamic during those time we were growing up, like end of elementary school all the way to high school or early college. It was really very dynamic economic situation, and the past king and his father, they were trying to change the country to become more westernized rather than the culture they had. So it was becoming very westernized country while we were growing up, and that was the culture situations and things like that. The economy was really great. I mean, we are going to laugh when we are talking about $3 per a barrel for the oil nowadays, but it was $3 at one time, and it was moving to $12, and it was a huge jump.
So I do remember when I was a kid with my dad and with my parents and brothers, everybody, we traveled to different cities and beautiful areas. We went to the city of Shiraz, amazing city when I was in my 10, 12 years old. And it was a great country. People loved to travel in Iran. A lot of tourists would come to Iran, and there are a lot of sights to be seen. Isfahan is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Shiraz is another beautiful city in the world. So we had a lot of tourists, and I do remember that we were trying to interact with the tourists, and they were very kind to us. So while I was being grown up, going to high school, I did play a lot of soccer with my friends on the street, and then we just would, when I grew up and I was able to drive, we would travel to go to the North Caspian Sea area, and beautiful area, beautiful city, a lot of great food, and people loved to eat outside, and on the summer days, they all would go to the northern part of Tehran, and they would eat like walnuts, and they would also cook corn and eat corn. So a lot of great time that I was in Iran. So that was amazing.
I can tell you a little bit about climate. Iran on the north side is was bordered with Soviet Union. It was pretty cold up there, like in Azerbaijan and north of Iran. Some areas was very cold. And then you come to south all the way down, being by Persian Gulf and across from Saudi Arabia and those places. So you can see the dry and desert area on the south side, mountain and snows and cold weather in the north side. So it was the climate was you can experience all four seasons in one traveling time. Going from south to north. I don't know, about 4,000, 5,000 miles from south to north, and you could experience different, climate if that's what. And there's a two major mountain one running east-west and block the Caspian Sea, which is shared with Soviet Union back then, and now there are different countries out there. It was shared between these, and they call them Caspian Sea. It was a lake, but that was a much larger lake than any lake, even Chicago, Michigan Lake or whatever. It's like 8-10 times larger. And so that's the biggest body of water as a lake, and it's a salt water. So, going all the way north and south of that area, these mountains block the moisture coming south, and so on the north side was lots of rain, and you can see lots of jungles and woods and beautiful scenery and things like that if you travel on the other side of the mountain. Then as you come to the south side, it's just more of a dry and desert area.
So when I was born, my dad was living in his dad's home. So we were living in grandparents' home. So everybody had small rooms, and so we were like, my dad had 2 rooms for him and my mom and the children. That at the time was me and Mohammed. So there was a lot of interactions with uncles and aunts, and so that was a lot of fun out there. And then later, when I was about 5 years old, my dad moved out of the house. We rented a house closer to the northern part of Tehran. And one of my favorite memories is that Mohammed was in first grade and I was 2 years behind him. And I wanted to go to school. I didn't care. And back then they didn't have the kindergarten. So my dad had talked to the principal, and they allowed me to go to sit in the same class as Mohammed, and I would be there to listen. So I really enjoyed going to school when no other kid about my age was able to go to school. So we are 6 brothers, and gradually we moved to bigger houses, and Dad had better business and built a bigger house. And then I went to middle school, which in Iran, middle and high school were together. So and then from there, I went to a 2-year college and got my associate degree in land surveying, and from there I came to United States. A lot of rivalry between the brothers, 6 brothers, no sisters, so lots of fun.
The most memory we had was when I was in elementary school, and then eventually in high school. High school was my best time. As I said, the economy was pretty good. My dad was pretty wealthy back then, and we were going to private school, and we had lots of friends. They hang around with us. We hang around with them in their house, our homes, sometimes in the a coffee shop or whatever. We had lots of fun. But I knew Jalal wants to grow up to be just like me, but now he said that he came into first grade with me. When I was in like 4th grade or 5th grade, 6th grade, and things like that, my dad built a house with 3-4 bedrooms, and there was 4 of us back then, and so I remember with 3 of us sharing 1 bedroom, and we always had objections, who's going to get what bed and who's going to sleep where and whatever. And that was things. But then later on, when we went to high school, I finally had my own bedroom. My dad built a much larger home. He was master builder. He was a home builder. So he built a very large size home out there, and then each one of us had our own bedroom. And that was really great when I was like 6th, 7th grade, or 8th grader. I had my own bedroom. But we still have objections. Who's going to get what bedroom? Who's going to have more windows? Who's going to, that's just that was the way. When you have six kids, six boys in the family, no girl. It's always like that. It's always going to be
learning how to negotiate for
yeah,
age.
yeah. We always have arguing, and we always push each other around. And of course, I have advantage because I was 2 years older than Jalal, and he has advantage with my other brother. Everybody, and as you're bigger, you can always get things. What you want, you get it a little bit better.
We do have family. All our aunts, uncles, everybody's back home except one uncle who moved to Oklahoma. But all the cousins, everybody's back home.
Yeah, the expanded family is still back there, but immediate family, everybody here in Oklahoma.
I do miss a lot of family and a lot of food. Obviously, there is great food here in Oklahoma. There are great Persian food here in Oklahoma. So, but there is no substitute for being there with the family, with going to different places, traveling together. And, sometimes we would travel during the Persian New Year, which is about the beginning of the spring. We all would become like 14 cars following each other, going to Caspian Sea, and Dad had a house in there, and then I would miss like sleeping with 5 other guys in one bedroom, and then they would divvy it up, and they put the girls on one side to the bedrooms together, and the boys on the other side, and then the parents, everybody would get a bedroom. So I mean, it was like, wow, how did we get into that one little bitty house? Or I mean, it wasn't small, but how did we all fit in that vacation house?
It was 2,500, 3,000 square feet home, a vacation home by Caspian Sea. And then all the uncles, all the brother, my dad's brother, my mom's sisters, they all show up out there, and we had
to be like 60 people, 50 people showing
we had
up.
to stay overnight out there because that was the only accommodation they had, so.
And then the next day, just going and buying bread and egg and butter and cheese and jam and bring it there, and everybody spend time together, and and then go swim in the Caspian Sea. I mean, the time was flying so fast that nobody would realize that it's time to go back home. So, yeah. Great memories.
Well, I mean, there's lots of things we are missing anyway. Cousins, they were all close to our age, very close friends, very close family. My dad and his family, and my mom and her family, they were very close. They were all very close. So we had lots of cousins very close with us, So we missed that part. And then lots of high school friends. When we go back, whenever we go back, we just call them and get together and everything. In here, when we get together, all of us get together, there's about 30, 35, 40 family members here in Oklahoma. Back home, when we go there, and we try to invite everybody or get together with everybody in a restaurant or someplace, it's over 150 people. And
That's just family.
That's just family. Yeah, 150 people. And we know everybody by name. Lots of people, I don't know them, the younger generation, I forget their name, but I know whose daughter or whose son he or she is. That way, I know because they look alike. Who is whose son or whose daughter. But those kind of parties and get together is basically what we are missing a lot. Of course, the food definitely is one of my. You can see it's my favorite part of life.
So let's talk about how we got to America, and then we talk about how we got to Oklahoma. So first of all, in Iran, you always try to get higher education, and at the time, there was a limited availability of the seats in the universities. So we both got our associate degree, and then we wanted to get our bachelor degree. And at the time, there wasn't enough capacity in the universities in Iran. So what I did was, at the time, I had already applied to come to United States about 9 months in advance. So I already knew I was going to go to Indiana to get to a language school, and then I would go to university right there. Now, for Mohammed, he kind of was relaxed, and it wasn't until the end of the time that he got his associate degree, and all of a sudden, he said, "Oh, I want to come too." So that's when he said, "What did you do? How did you get all these admissions?" And I said, "Oh, it takes about 3-4 months," and he wanted to get it done faster. So together we went to his, he was working in another city called Rasht for Dad, and he was building homes also while he was going to school. So we went there to bring his, because his transcript from high school. So we brought it there, and all of a sudden, because it was right before the Iranian Revolution, everybody was so busy, and they would also close, and he needed to get the transcript translated. So I kind of got it all translated and put it on a form and took it to a place where they would certify it, and they put all the transcript and translation together, and they approved it. They sealed it. And I had a friend in New York who was living in New York City. Back then there wasn't no FedEx. So I put his transcript in an envelope, and I went to Pan Am, and it was, I believe, flight, I want to say 71, going from Tehran, or 72, going from Tehran to JFK, direct flight. So I just gave it to him, and we paid for it. Actually, I think Mohammed paid for it. So we just paid for it, and then I called my friend in New York, and he goes there, pick it up, goes to, I believe, which university did he get your?
I don't remember. There's somebody new.
I believe it was Columbia. So he went to Columbia University and got him admission to Columbia University.
I should have gone there anyway.
He got admission to Columbia University, as well as getting and then Mohammed worked on a language school, and his language school was in Houston, Texas. So that was when we were trying to get the visas. You had to have those admissions before you could go and get the visa. So I go and I get my visa, and then I get on the Iran Air flight, I go to New York, and then I was waiting for Mohammed. So why don't you tell us about your travel from what happened to you when you wanted to come?
Yeah, originally, I was not planning to come here for higher education, and I was hoping I can be admitted somewhere in Iran because I already have wife and a son. So I was thinking, it's just more comfortable to work for my dad. He has a construction company, he has a factory, and it was just, you're the owner of the company, and so definitely it was more convenient for me to stay there, work, and not necessarily come to the United States. And as I said, the lifestyle was pretty good out there back then. So then I was working on one of his site, or one of his construction site up north of Iran. It was another city. So I was commuting between Tehran and Rasht, which is about 4 or 5 hours driving. And my wife likes it there pretty much. So we were not thinking if we want to come. But then my wife shows interest. Yeah, I'd like to go to the United States. Let's just move. Let's immigrate. Let's just go there and get your educations and this and that, whatever. And then I talked to Jalal. How did you do that? Where did you go? And so we got this, admitted to Columbia University. And of course, our language school my language school was in Houston. So about a week after he left, I obtained my visa, and with my wife and one son. And just 1978, we just came here right before the revolution of Iran. So we came here, and why we didn't attend to Columbia or whatever we got admitted was basically the cost of living. The cost of living made us to make a decision to come to Oklahoma. I had a friend from high school who was already living here. And then when we went to Indiana and then to Houston, it was oil boom back then in 78, and you could barely find any apartment available. Everything was so expensive. So for a student, it was very difficult to go to school and live in there, especially when you have family. Then we decided the best, called his friends, and he said, for half as much as what you spend in Houston, you can come to Oklahoma. And that's when we decided to pack and come to Oklahoma and go to school here. We started with the language school, and then we find out, University of Oklahoma is a good school and everything. So we just moved from language school to OU, and then we got our bachelor's and then continued from our master's degree here. And it was a pretty good university, a lot cheaper than any Ivy League university, and being a student and not having lots of money coming here. We had some money, but not a lot, because revolution happened and my dad could not send any more money. So we thought this is a good place to live.
I was about 20, maybe 21, and Mohammed was 29, 30.
Yeah, about 21 and 23.
Yeah, 21 and 23. As Mohammed mentioned, we came to Oklahoma by actually on the way to go from Indiana to Houston, Texas. We stayed overnight, and that's when Mohammed called his friend, and we talked to him, and he really sold us on Oklahoma. The cost of living is lower. You are a student. You can't afford paying a whole lot of tuition. So we came here only to find out that Oklahoma is the best place to stay, raise family, start up a business. So we just found out that by sheer luck, we stepped on the best place in the United States, and we called Oklahoma home ever since.
Pretty much, it's a shocking situation for people who come from a major metro area, which was Tehran. Tehran today is 10, 12 million population, but back then was 2.5 million population. It was very vibrant community. When you come to Oklahoma, especially in 78, it was very quiet. And we thought, oh my God, here there's nothing to do with nothing, it's just not what a big metro has. But eventually we get so much used to it that we can understand. When we were in Chicago about a week ago, and man, it was just crazy. I couldn't stand it. I mean, we get a Uber to go from one place to another place, hour and a half in highway. I mean, it's just we get used to this, comfortable life here in Oklahoma. So there was a big contrast. It was huge.
So one of the contrasts that I can paint it for you is that we were able to go about midnight in Tehran, just go have coffee, drink, juice, whatever you
Even
wanted
food.
to.
Yeah.
Food,
Food, yeah.
midnight.
Yeah.
And here you come to United States, back in the 70s, most stores would close at 5 o'clock.
In Oklahoma.
And the groceries stores probably close at 7, maybe 8 o'clock. And the malls would also close at 7 or 8 o'clock. I mean, there was nothing after 7. And we were used to just get on the car about close to midnight and just go and just have fun. And so, but things have changed. For one thing, we realized that life is much, much better to go to bed a little bit earlier. And secondly, the there has been a lot of changes. So the stores were now open. Then later they opened up to about 11 p.m. and then later on they became 24 hours. I mean, I remember when we had the first 24-hour grocery store, I could not believe, wow, this is wonderful. We could go and buy groceries 24/7. And the malls were open till 9 o'clock. And so it was a lot of progress here and the population growth. So it was wonderful. And so as the age, kind of our age went up, we wanted to settle down. And also the state had more life after 5 p.m.
Well, actually, when we came here, but at the University of Oklahoma in 1978 or 79, there was about 750 students, Iranian students. There was a big population of Iranian here, mainly because of cost of living. Lots of students came here, and then when they get graduate, they get job other places, and they'll go to California or Florida, or some of the states which they have more job opportunity. So it was not like there was none at all, but there was not very many international grocery stores. It was not very many international food. There was not very many. I mean, the city of Oklahoma City, if it's 1.2, 1.3 million people now, it was less than 800,000 people. It was about 700,000 people. So realistically, there was not lots of things which you could get it in a bigger metro area. But it's different now. It's for sure there is, and the distances are become small. Right? If you feel like you want to be in Iranian community, in just 3 hours flight to Los Angeles, and you're going to have 500,000 Iranian in one street. So it's just the lifestyle is a lot easier now, and you can travel around the world, and you don't feel very uncomfortable, whatever. But here, the community of Iranians are very close. They know each other very well. They help each other very well. And even though there's not as many students, we were a student, but now the second generations are involved in the community. There's lots of attorneys, doctors, and business people. Second generation, they are 30 and 40 years old, Iranian American, and they are doing pretty good in the state. Lots of them, they contribute a lot in the state of Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma was not as diverse as it is today, and definitely not as diverse as California, New York, and Florida. So we just had a little bit of a struggle to educate people about Iran and us being from Iran. Obviously, at the time, there was the Iranian Revolution and there was the hostage crisis. And so there was a lot of challenges that we had to work through. So one of the biggest challenges was that finding a job was very difficult. And that led us to start our own business because we could not find jobs other than delivering pizza or working at the restaurants. I'm going to let Mohammed
Okay, and
talk about that convenience
when we
store.
got graduated in 1981, we graduated in May, and we sent our resume to at least half a dozen or a dozen architect firms in the Oklahoma City area, because we want to go to get our master's degree. We didn't want to leave Oklahoma because we were admitted to master program at OU, so we want to be around the Oklahoma City metro area. Almost had interview. When you send your resume and everything, you get an interview, and then we got interview. When they interview us and ask where are you from and where you came from and everything, and find out we are from Iran, they hesitate to give us job. And so back then, you shouldn't be politically correct. They would just tell you exactly what they think and what they, it was just very open. So I asked one of the guys, was a younger guy. He was just maybe 4 or 5 years older than me. I said, after he interviewed, he said, I'm going to call you if we need you and everything. I said, I know everybody says the same thing and they didn't call me. So what is the reason? And he said, well, I said, don't you like me because I'm Iranian? He said, no, there's, I don't have anything against you, but we don't want to hire you in case my client get offended, an Iranian working in his project when there is a hostage, American hostage in Iran. Well, then I thought, we probably were never going to get a decent job except wherever they are desperate, like in restaurant or dishwasher or things like that. So when I came back, I told Jalal, listen, Jalal, our application is not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to give us a job to do anything except restaurant work, delivery, and things like that. And he said, you know what we need to do? We need to have our own business. I said, yeah, but we don't have money. He said, let's just talk to your bank and see if they're going to lend us money. So look at the newspaper, business for sale, and he found a convenience store for sale, not the property, but just the business. It was $17,000 back then. And he said, why don't you ask bank to see if they lend us money? So I had set an appointment with a banker, and he was president of the branch. So I went there and talked to him and told him we want to buy, and I got the copy of the books and everything and showed it to him. I could not read it back then. I could not read financial statement. But whatever they give me, he just bring it to the banker and let them look at it and see what they think. And he looked at it and said, first of all, this company is losing money. They're showing losing money. Secondly, have you ever worked for convenience store? I said, no. He said, have you ever owned a convenience store? I said, no. So he said, this convenience store is losing money. That's how the book says. So I went back to the guy. He said, no. I'm putting $120, $150 in my pocket every night, and that's why I don't pay taxes. So I come back, told the banker. I said, no, this guy says he's making money, but he's not showing it in the book because he put cash in his pocket. He said, this guy is not honest guy. He either tell you the truth, or which is not honest because he's cheating government, or he's telling you the lie, he's lying to you, so he's not honest. You don't want to do business with it. He said, what was your education? I said, me and my brother, we both got graduate from architect school. And he said, what's your background? What did you do? So working for my father, we were building homes. He said, if you would come here and ask for building a home, I would lend you money, but not for convenience store. I shake his hand and say, I'll be back in 1 week. So in 1 week, I show up with the proposal with building first house. And sure enough, in a few weeks, he lent us $40,000. And we built our very first house in 1981. And we established under the company called M&J Construction, Mohammed and Jalal Construction. So that was the very first house we built. And since then, we built 16,000, 17,000 homes.
We do get a lot of people telling us, you guys are living the American dreams. You came from Iran and you practically didn't have any money. You were working while going to school. You were working at Church's Fried Chicken. You were delivering pizza. You were doing cleanup jobs and stuff like that, dishwasher. And you took yourself through the school, and then you were able to start with one house and then make the one house 3 houses, 5 houses, 10 houses, 50 houses. And you have been able to make it in America, and you are the true inspiration for a lot of people to have the American dream. I also, from time to time, I see a lot of Iranian who come and they say, how did y'all make it? I can't believe that you guys made it. and your family is an inspiration to me, and I want to be the next Farzaneh family. So we do get a lot of comments like that. It makes me feel great that I was able to become, or actually our family is able to become a role model for others to say, hey, yes, we came here, we did it, you can do it too. So we have dentists in our family, lawyers in our family, PhD, master degrees, and everybody that we are talking to, we're just telling them that it's the education that gives you that platform to go up and be able to go to the next level. So we are really promoting education for everybody, and our family, we have a family foundation that we have invested more than $10 million in Oklahoma universities to educate the next generation of Oklahoman, the kids that cannot go to Ivy League universities, and they deserve to have the best education. So we want them to have that best education here in Oklahoma. So while Oklahoma gave us the platform and gave us the opportunity, we want to provide that platform and opportunity for other kids, other Oklahoman.
Let me tell you something about minorities in the, when you come to a new country or immigrant and whatever, especially, country which, from Iran, it's always controversial, politics and everything, and you feel like you're an underdog. You feel like, I don't have equal platform with other people, right? But that makes you a better and tougher person. If you need to prove yourself, you need to be a better person. You need to be better in what you do, better in your behavior in society, better in your business. You need to be, provide better service. You need to provide to compete. And if you keep doing that, eventually you are going to be better than everybody else in what you are doing, and that makes you successful. So sometimes lots of people see that one as a negative. We saw that one as a positive. We have to do a little bit harder. We have to work a little bit harder. We have to go the extra mile. We have to make sure we can prove it to the community that we are as good or better than competition. So that platform, even though we didn't have equal opportunity, but that made us to be able to be tougher, better, and try harder. And that's what most minority need to do. That's what my advice is to anybody who is minority and they don't have equal platform.
As a friend said, the biggest advantage I have is I was disadvantaged.
And another thing is, most of us who immigrant to the United States, this is the ultimate place which everybody want to move to or come to. That's because in our home country, we didn't have the same opportunity what we have here. In this country, if you work hard, if you're honest, definitely you're going to be successful. That's just, not everywhere it's like that. You have to be politically connected. You have to be from certain family. You have to be, different country has different reasons how people are successful. In this country, working hard and be honest. That's going to make you successful for sure.
When I came to the United States for the first time as a student, my friend with whom I went to school, his name was Farshad. He was living with a lady who was a Jewish Holocaust survivor. And my wife and I, we went to see my friend Farshad at Sally Mark's home. And she said, Jalal, you are going to encounter a lot of challenges in your life here in the United States. If you have a problem, go ask help. Go ask for help from the first person you see. If they don't give you a hand, go ask the second person. That second person will help you Americans are very, very good people. And my experience has been nothing but the fact that Americans are very, very good people. If you need help, ask people, they will give it to you. So I was talking to my wife about retirement, and actually we were talking yesterday while we were walking in the neighborhood, and she said, "You're actually spending more time now than you were spending about 20 years ago. So how does that work out?"
Spend more time to your business, you mean?
So no, she said you spend more time working.
Well,
So, and I was just thinking, so what is it that I'm doing more time working? I realized that Mohammed and I are spending a lot of our times to work for the community. He is on the board of Chamber of Commerce, on board of Boy Scouts, on United Way. I'm on the board of Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum, on the board of Regents for Oklahoma City Community College, board of College of International. So I realized that a lot of things that we are doing has shifted from working within the company, and we shifted that time, and we are giving a lot of our time back to the community. We are trying to enhance the community. So I think that trend is going to expand to where we are going to spend less time now that our children are spending more time in the business and they become the leader of the companies. We are spending less time in the company. We are more like advisor to them and giving them the guidance how to get there and letting them be the manager for what they are doing. And we are spending more time trying to help others, and whether it's going to be at the national level, like Mohammed is on the board of International Society of Children with Cancer, or other national organizations that we are there. So we try to help others and try to give back, and that's what's satisfying to us, and I think that's what's filling my day as I'm becoming less and less involved with the business, and that really is a very satisfying feeling.
I think charity work is something which we learned from our father, and he was very involved when we were very young, very involved with the community, and he was always supporting the needies and people who really need help, either financial help or other help. You know, he was always advising. He was a successful businessman, so he was always advising younger people to what to do, what not to do, and everything. So we learned that from him, even though we did not spend lots of our time in Iran, but while we were growing up, we saw that. So it was always important for us to do charity and help charity organization. One of the issues we always enjoyed to be involved with was educational community or universities, and the reason behind that was because we realized helping people is not it's just helping them like how to just helping them with fish, but with the education you can teach them how to fish, right? So we decided a long time ago, helping universities and colleges and schools and children, it's the best things we can do, best investment we can do for the future of generations to come. So we get pretty much involved with OU, OCU, OSU, and
UCO.
UCO, TU. We are involved. We are getting involved with them. Any university in Oklahoma, we like to help them. We like to set up, or either scholarship for the students, or endowed positions, or get them some kind of educational program or whatever they can do to help to help Oklahoma students. That was very successful for us because now we realize how we can help and how much we can help, and our help can go a long way. So we are very happy to do that. Of course, we are involved with all kind of charity organization, from infant crisis to big brother, big sister. You just keep going. Food bank, and there's about 56, 57 organizations we are helping, and we are involved with them. And some of them we even serve on the boards. So, I mean, this is, as he said, we are spending more and more time there, and we are still very busy. We don't feel like we are retiring, but maybe we are retiring from business little by little, but we are not retiring from community.